all the came on the Breakfast Club today, and it's kind of funny because he said some wild things in the past.
Aiden Ross, there's a comment pending here. He just commented and said, Neon, I promise you they try to belittle you and disrespect you. All of them, they are weird at them.
From
Us. And here, the chat is live in the Breakfast Club.
Anyway, go ahead. That's what he opened up and said, yo, look, I was a troller. I just said anything to anybody. Never thought he was gonna run into him, and it got him. Right? It got him likes, it got him views. But he's changing that now because I think he realized a couple of things. And things that I think I should have realized earlier, asking people wild questions on the Breakfast Club and doing stupid things, is you got to see these people face to face, and your whole image has to change. And that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to change his image. He doesn't want to be that bad guy anymore. He doesn't want to be the troll, and he has to repair all those relationships. And he said some wild stuff about some wild things. And like we told him today, some of those things that he said should have got a punch in the mouth. But the kid is doing well. Only 20. So he's learning, so I wish him the best. I mean, it's the only thing that he listens to his chat too much. And if the chat says something, he does it. But I would just tell that young man, keep doing what you're doing, making money, support your family. If you're evolving for the right reasons, keep doing it. Because a troll is just a troll until they see somebody in public. What the troll can do outside of that? It's not. Prove me on it.
So, let me give a little bit of context as to why this is a conversation that DJ Envy apparently felt compelled to speak about, right? And so basically what is happening is that Neon pulled up on the Breakfast Club because Neon is expanding his fan base. Yes, Neon has been streaming with all kind of people. I seen him streaming with Rio the other day. And a lot of times what he's basically doing is he's farming, right? He's farming for more content, and so it's only so much that you can do when it comes to just sitting in your room or whatever. And so for those of you that may not be familiar, these are streamers, IRL streamers. I think personally the biggest one is iShowSpeed. Obviously you got the Kai Cenats, you got the Aiden Rosses, you got the DGs, you got all of these guys, right? And they exploded. They make a lot of money when it comes to sponsorships and all of that. Neon is 20 years old, and in the past he said some crazy stuff, trolling or whatever. And so what I've seen online is that there's a lot of black people that are basically saying the Breakfast Club, who kind of went at him really, really hard on the platform. The Breakfast Club, they saying that, yo, y'all wrong because y'all tried to go at this dude because he's young and you know that he's Jewish and whatever, so on and so forth, and so he couldn't really defend himself. And on the flip side, a lot of people are saying that the Breakfast Club is justified for going at him for things that he said in the past. I think that it's a mixture of both, right? The reality is this, it's all content. So I believe that Neon automatically understood what he was getting himself into when he decided to go on the Breakfast Club, because of course you got Jess Hilarious, and you got the Lauren chick, and you got Charlemagne, and then you got DJ Envy, which is really weird listening to DJ Envy, because DJ Envy, he probably the last person that you should look to for advice when it comes to all of the things that's said and done and things being accountable and all of that. And then you got Charlemagne, who obviously has ran up on in the past. And, you know, I'm not an advocate for anybody running up on anybody, but at the same time, you know, we have to be very, very careful with how it is that we criticize, while at the same time not being able to take feedback. Jess Hilarious, who was cried numerous times just was around the Breakfast Club a couple months ago about how people was viewing her online and so on and so forth. And then the Lauren chick is pretty new, so we don't have to really speak on her. But the reality is this, I believe that Neon did say some crazy things in the past, which obviously was going to come back up at some point. How about that, Jose? Platform at all, because he's not running from it. He just ran straight into the fire and jumping on the Breakfast Club. And I don't think that Neon gets enough credit for people thinking that he's as smart as he is. He is very, very smart. His father is very, very smart. His father has a lot of resources. Neon generates a lot of money.
Hello.
That's not by happenstance. He didn't just pop up. They are strategic. They market him a certain type of way. He reinvests his money. He makes sure that he leverages social media in order to get more buzz and more visibility. And controversy really matters when it comes to people wanting to tune in and see what happens. Contrary to popular belief,
subscribe,
Whether
and
they
like.
dislike you or whether they like you, the fact that they talk about you and keep you in the algorithm is the thing that really matters. Let me
Come
say that
hang with
again
me
for
on the
black people that
road.
think that it's really meaningful and that Neon is going to be effective, whether they like you or they dislike you. Because I didn't even see the black community having a conversation about Neon prior to him actually going on the Breakfast Club, and there's so many people that's now got his name and they mouth saying, I don't know what's appealing about the guy, and so on and so forth. You're never going to find out what's appealing about the guy because he doesn't necessarily tap into your demographic. What he has been doing is making sure that he's in the streets, and now
Like
he's very
and
much in black
subscribe. Like and
spaces.
subscribe.
And so a lot of people are saying two things. One of them they said is that the Breakfast Club needs to be canceled and all of this other stuff. Breakfast Club is not going to be canceled. Cancel culture is dead. And I believe that the Breakfast Club probably benefited from Neon being on the platform more than Neon benefited from the Breakfast Club. That's the caveat. Give me a second. Let me let you sink that in for a minute.
Hit that
I
subscribe
believe that the
button.
Breakfast Club benefited more from Neon bringing his fan base and visibility into the Breakfast Club more than Neon benefited from being on the Breakfast Club. For Neon, I believe it was probably just content. The more controversy, people going at him, he's no stranger to it. He understands the troll game. And people don't really understand that these people have been doing this for a long time, even though he's only 20 years old. He knows what he's doing. He's no stranger to it. He is familiar with it, and it's not anything that's new to him. So you can look at it from that front on his end. On the other side, you can look at the Breakfast Club, right? And you're saying that they're not new to it because they're not necessarily breaking any new barriers. I think that they've largely benefited off of the fact that they was earlier to the game and they pioneered a lot of the earlier interviews and doing a visual instead of just doing an audio and just being radio. And that was back when Angela Yee was there. But the Breakfast Club very much is, kind of stagnant in my mind as far as whether or not they really hit, whether or not they still get visibility, and whether or not they, getting as much traction as they probably could. And I'm pretty sure that they're doing well and they're doing okay. But
summer's here, and it's time to bring the heat in a stylish new Honda. From the Kelley Blue Book.
I don't really look at this as a L for either one. I think that they both benefit each other. I think that it was beneficial as far as the conversations. If you actually want to watch the interview, which I'm not really interested in showing the interview itself simply because, it's too much rigmarole with the Breakfast Club footage and all of that. And so even though I could show it, it's not really necessary. But I think that you get the gist, you get the premise. You can go to Breakfast Club and go watch the whole interview yourself if you want to. But really, it was just them coming at him, and I see a lot of people saying, well, they wasn't going at Birdman or they wasn't going at this person. I don't think that content creation is about going at people. I think it's about having uncomfortable conversations that then generate eyeballs, because if you are not getting anybody that's popping up on your platform, or if you can't generate the revenue yourself by getting some kind of traction or anything like that, then it's not really a thing. As a matter of fact, you can go and look at Angela Yee. I don't think that Yee's all the way up or whatever it is even remotely as relevant or getting as much traction as it was when she was on the Breakfast Club. But that just shows you that they may not be as interesting by themselves as they are when they actually using other people for content. And so I don't look at it as a bad thing on Neon's part. I don't think it's a bad thing on the Breakfast Club part. I believe that it was just no harm, no foul. They both created content. And it's like the WWE up there, or WWF, or wrestling, or whatever it is that you want to frame it out to be. DJ Envy is using this in order to continue to get more traction for his social media platforms. And yeah, it is what it is. So let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon links in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. Do you think that Neon is going to be affected by the Breakfast Club going at him? And do you think that the Breakfast Club is going to be affected in a negative way as far as their reputation
We have an update on this Shannon Sharp case. You will remember that Shannon Sharp is being sued for $50 million by a 23, 24-year-old woman who was sending him texts saying, hey, I know you want this big, juicy backside, $25,000 per cheek, sending him texts saying, hey, where's the cash? She's got video of both of them engaging in intimate relations, and Shannon Sharp is fighting for his career for that information not to get out. Now he's being sued for $50 million. They've gone to court for the first time. Let's see what happens.
So the lawsuit that was filed on April 20th, 2025 by prominent Houston attorney Tony Busby on behalf of an anonymous woman in her 20s
Good old
contains
Tony.
graphic allegations against the former NFL tight end turned media superstar Shannon Sharp. And the complaint alleges that Sharp engaged in what is essentially a pattern of sexual violence and psychological abuse during what began as a consensual relationship with the plaintiff, who, by the way, is apparently more than 30 years his junior. According to court documents, the plaintiff met Sharp at a Los Angeles gym when she was just 19 years old, and the lawsuit claims that Sharp, quote, incessantly pursued the young woman, demanding her phone number, eventually asking her to visit his home, and most disturbingly, possibly, is the filing alleges that Sharp required this woman to sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement,
What?
before their first meetings.
Let me stop it right here. This guy says that Shannon Sharp apparently is being accused of physical violence. He is being accused of psychological abuse, but most disturbingly, he asked this girl to sign an NDA. Listen, shout out to Law and Crime. I don't know what they've got going on over there, but it is not disturbingly at all to ask someone to sign an NDA. I signed an NDA about 2 weeks ago. NDAs are important, and the more status you have, the more money you have, they are going to be offered up. For this reporter to say Shannon Sharp is being accused of committing physical violence and psychological violence, but most disturbingly, he asked this girl to sign an NDA, it makes absolutely no sense. I'm not sure what background this interviewer has, whether he's an attorney or not, but he's absolutely wrong on this. NDAs are super common, and all these celebrities want you to sign one.
Well, this request is something she repeatedly refused. Now, the relationship, according to her, allegedly turned abusive, verbally screaming at, berating her, violent sexual episodes, control. But the most graphic allegation described Sharp allegedly sexually assaulting and raping her, including ignoring her screams and refusing to wear a condom. Now, the lawsuit also claims that Sharp secretly recorded their intimate encounters, shared the videos without her consent, but maybe...
Let's stop it right here. He's saying, hey, this girl's saying that Shannon Sharp recorded the videos and shared them without her consent. I don't know what's going on with this reporter, but he seems to be a little one-sided. He doesn't mention how this girl and Shannon Sharp were having sex basically in front of Shannon's friends. This girl's lawsuit states that she would have sex with Shannon while Shannon was FaceTiming with his childhood friend named Bucket. So guys, her and Shannon would basically be having sex on FaceTime with Bucket, showing Bucket what's going on. That seems pretty consensual to me. Now, is that freaky to have sex in front of Shannon Sharp's friends? Listen, we are not going to judge, but let's just say the whole truth. This girl is suing Shannon Sharp, but having sex in front of Bucket.
Aspect of this are the alleged threats that were captured in audio recordings that were released by Tony Busby. In fact, in one clip, a voice identified as Sharp's can be heard saying, "If you say that word one more time, I'm going to bleep and choke the bleep out of you when I see you." Now, the woman, allegedly the plaintiff in the case, then can be heard saying she doesn't want that, while the voice resembling Sharp responds, "Yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice in the matter."
Shannon Sharp did say that. He did say it. I absolutely believe that there was some choking going on in that bedroom between Shannon Sharp and this girl. But I also believe it was consensual. In fact, in some of the text messages that the girl sent to Shannon Sharp, she addresses this history that they have. Can we be honest for a second? I mean, we're all adults. Some people like this vanilla, plain Jane type of relationship. Other people like it a lot lot more spicy. Some people take it to extremes and they're over there cutting themselves and whatnot. As someone who's practiced over 20 years, I have heard it all. I am not going to judge. I will say that I understand that if you take someone's actions that are consensual and strip the context away, it can look like something totally different. There was definitely a power dynamic between these two people. There was a huge age difference, and if I can say it, there was a race difference. This girl and Shannon Sharpe, it's my belief, were absolutely engaging in race play. This girl was texting Shannon Sharpe saying, hey, I want your big black baby in me. Shannon's just like me. He's from down south. We both grew up in Georgia, and Shannon's almost 60 years old. Shannon was growing up in a time where there were outhouses. I don't think he had indoor plumbing until he was in high school. When you grow up in the deep south in those times, race is going to be an issue in your life. Shannon Sharpe having these racial themes introduced doesn't surprise me at all, given when and where he grew up. We're talking about plantation after plantation after plantation of cotton, of peanuts, of tobacco. I know for a fact that Shannon Sharpe experienced a lot of things in his formative years, and he might be a little bit traumatized, and for some reason he's introducing these themes into his sexual encounter. That's fine, not going to judge him. If he chooses to have sex with a 23-year-old white girl that says, you know, black this and black that, that's his prerogative. But let's just lay out the full context of what's going on.
Do you take that literally, or I think the other way of looking at it from the defense's point of view would be this is role-playing.
100%.
Well, Sharpe has adequately denied all the allegations through his attorney, or one of his attorneys, Lanny Davis, who called the lawsuit, quote, a classic definition of blackmail. The former NFL star took to Instagram shortly after the lawsuit became public, posting a video where he called the allegations, quote, a shakedown, promised to fight back aggressively. Quote, what they're getting is sued, Sharpe declared in the since deleted post. And he even suggested that BuzzFeed planned to release edited portions of a sex tape and challenged him to release the full recording.
This is a shakedown. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I will have or I will put myself. You know what happened, and you tried to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate attack. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about, and I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all of you guys.
So now let's talk a little lawyers. So typically, defendants in lawsuits, in federal lawsuits, are given 21 days to respond with an answer once they're provided the summons and complaint. An answer being where they go through the allegations in the complaint line by line, paragraph by paragraph. They admit, deny, say they don't have enough information. It's a response. And, you know, what's interesting about this is, according to reporting from the New York Post, it doesn't seem that Sharpe has legally responded as of yet. Can't really confirm that, but that's what the reporting seems to suggest. And we'll talk more about that when we get into it. But first, I want to bring on a special guest to help me break down the latest, including what happened in this hearing. I am joined by sports attorney Dan Lust, professor at New York Law School. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for taking the time.
Always good to see you, Jesse. Happy to help.
Thanks. So what are the typical timelines for a high-profile civil lawsuit like this to progress from filing to resolution? Am I right that it's 21 days to respond? I mean, is it typical? How does it work for people who don't know how civil lawsuits get reported?
You don't know. Yeah, I mean, this is like law school basics, right? We're talking about how a lawsuit started, right? There's the filing of the complaint, there's the service of the complaint. So, you know, not to... It certainly depends on what court you're in, what state you're in, but generally, right, once you are served with the complaint, sometimes you have 21 days, sometimes you get some more time. It's personal service versus a mailing, right? But either way, once a commencement papers are started, you have a set amount of days to respond to that. Otherwise, you risk being held in default either by plaintiff's counsel's motion, or sometimes, right, particularly in federal court, something like sua sponte, right? And that's a fun Latin term where the judge themselves decides to hold you in default. So it is somewhat common, and I know Jesse has probably more questions than answers. We get to this hearing, and we have no response from either
Let me stop it right here. This attorney says it's somewhat odd that Shannon Sharpe has not filed an answer. Guys, I don't know what's going on here. It's not somewhat odd. It is extremely odd. This lady is suing Shannon Sharpe for $50 million. Not filing an answer in this case is not an option. There have been times when I filed a lawsuit against somebody and they just don't respond. Typically, I will say it's usually a man. They'll take the lawsuit and they'll crumble it up and of their trunk, or they'll put it in a drawer in their kitchen and they'll forget about it. 45 days later, 60 days later, they've lost the case. If you do not answer a lawsuit, you will probably lose automatically. Now, if Visa sues you for $7,500 or MasterCard sues you for $3,000 and you don't show up, fine. $3,000, you can live with that. Imagine being sued for $50 million and you don't respond to the complaint. This attorney saying, oh, well, it's a little weird. There's been no response. No, it's not a little weird. It is inconceivable. And it only leads to one conclusion, that there is some behind the scenes negotiation going on. You'll remember that Shannon Sharpe attorney let the cat out of the bag saying, hey, we didn't even know they were going to file this complaint because we had offered $10 million to the girl to shut her up. And then Shannon Sharpe said that was at least. So they offered at least $10 million, probably more. Now, a lot of people think, oh, well, Shannon Sharpe offered this girl $10 million, $15 million. That must mean he's guilty, right? Wrong. Guys, listen, if y'all are watching this channel, I want you to be legally sophisticated. There are so many things that this girl knows that Shannon Sharpe does not want the public to know, even if he has done nothing wrong. Shannon Sharpe had a job at ESPN that's basically been put on ice for a while. Shannon Sharpe had sponsors that have kind of pulled back since this lawsuit has come to light. Shannon would love to pay $10 or $15 million and then collect $30 million, $50 million from his sponsors and ESPN and others. Just because Shannon offered this girl millions of dollars does not mean he did anything wrong. It just means that the things that he doesn't want you to know about. For example, text messages back and forth have shown that Shannon Sharpe would like to go in the bedroom with this girl and he would lie down on the bed. Shannon would lie down on his back and he would slide his underwear off. Now, once Shannon slid his underwear off, this girl would position herself at the end of the bed and then Shannon would put his feet in the air and he would spread eagle. And then this girl would start doing you know what, you know where, committing all types of atrocities while Shannon Sharpe ashy heels were spread out in the air. Now, Shannon doesn't want you to know about that. Shannon doesn't want ESPN to know about that. Shannon Sharpe doesn't want Spotify to know about that. So he says, yeah, I'll pay $10 million, I'll pay $15 million to keep that on the low. It doesn't mean that he abused this girl. I mean, those atrocities, that is a little bit of abuse. But you know what I'm saying. Somebody write in the comments, free Shannon Sharpe.
Have a no-show plaintiff, so it's not really your typical setting how we're starting this debate and this case, a very high-profile case. But I wouldn't say this is following the normal plaintiff.
Yeah, I'll get into the hearing and what happened or didn't happen in a second, because I think it's interesting that apparently a lawyer didn't show up and why that might have happened. But going back to this.
So if you missed it, Shannon Sharpe's lawyer showed up, but the girls' lawyers did not. So let's get this straight. The girls suing Shannon Sharpe for $50 million. Shannon Sharpe doesn't respond to the complaint, but his lawyers show up. The girl's attorney does not show up. No one shows up for the girl's side. In a case worth $50 million, this is unheard of. This absolutely is a sign that these parties are negotiating behind the scenes. They are not taking this case seriously. It absolutely looks like they're going to reach an agreement at some point. They are never going to go to trial not acting like this.
If the reporting's true, and this was filed in April, I mean, we're already in July. We would say 21 days, 30 days. I didn't see anything. Yeah, I didn't see anything about him getting some sort of extension. He might have, but what would be the reason to not prepare an answer? And would there be a situation where the court says, we're going to allow the case to go forward? You're not in default. Just file an answer as soon as you can. I mean, it just seems strange that based on the reporting, I think it was from the New York Post a few days ago, that they said there was no legal response yet.
It's crazy.
Any insight into that?
Yeah, I mean, this is, I tell my clients, right, like the wheels of justice turn very slowly, and sometimes you don't really have an answer, right? And sometimes just, hey, what is stopping these attorneys from just kind of pushing the case out indefinitely? So behind the scenes, judges are graded on their own rubrics about how quickly they're adjudicating cases. So no judge is in the business of just allowing a case to be, we'll say, extended indefinitely. And judges, part of their job, in addition to getting a decision on the merits or pushing the parties toward a settlement, is to push the parties in some direction and not just kind of lay out there. And Jesse, just I guess like strategically, when Lanny Davis came onto the case, he came in very aggressively, and I know we spent a lot of time in our last conversation talking about making public of certain settlement negotiations. Lanny Davis also said that Sharp was going to go on the aggressive with his own defamation case. So, I just from the initial posturing of the case, Sharp is not taking an aggressive standpoint. Quite the contrary, he's just kind of playing wait and see, I guess, for lack of a better term. So, if people have questions as to why Sharp and his legal team, and I think there's some new lawyers involved now, it's certainly a changing of the strategy, which on day one was let's go 100 miles per hour, let's go on the offensive. And now you don't really file an answer.
Yeah, this guy is totally wrong. He's saying that the attorney came in guns blazing aggressively and taking the bull by the horns. Obviously, that's not what the attorney did. It came out that the attorney and Shannon Sharp were negotiating this behind the scenes for months. They didn't file anything preemptively to get ahead of this. They didn't file any defamation action. They didn't file any injunction. They didn't file anything. They still haven't filed an answer. Shannon Sharp and his legal team did absolutely nothing in public before this girl filed her $50 million lawsuit. So this guy here saying, hey, when the attorney came on, they came in guns blazing. That's just absolutely not true. They were negotiating behind the scenes for months, quietly, passively, not trying to alert the public of anything. Now, I don't want to be too hard on this attorney. He absolutely could not know very much about this case. When these shows call you, like Law and Crime or Court TV, they say, hey, we're just going to talk to you 5-10 minutes about this case. So you say, that's fine. And you don't really take the time to research it. So he's doing this as a favor to Law and Crime. We're not going to hold his feet to the fire. Let's go. Hold up. Let's pause from this Shannon Sharp circus for a second to have a quick word from our sponsor, Chapter Medicare. If you or someone you love is on Medicare, this matters. The Department of Justice just revealed a huge fraud case against top Medicare brokers, accusing them of steering seniors to plans that pay the highest kickbacks, not the plans best for you. I've seen firsthand how confusing and frustrating Medicare can be. When I faced my own cancer diagnosis, even with my decades of legal experience, navigating healthcare felt impossible. That's why I'm partnering with Chapter Medicare. Chapter searches through every available Medicare plan to find the one truly tailored to your doctors, your prescriptions, and your budget. Completely unbiased and free. On average, seniors who've worked with Chapter saved over $1,100 a year. So if you want straightforward, unbiased help, call Chapter right now at 572-243-0163 or visit askchapter.org/lead. It's quick, it's free, and it could save you hundreds. The number's right here on the screen, 572-243-0163. Give yourself peace of mind today. Now, let's get back to this Shannon Sharp dumpster fire.
Safe to say you're not even playing defense. You're just kind of doing.
Is that typical in the sense, like you can say, okay, well, there's a change in circumstances. We're going to come off aggressive first, but things can change. It's not necessarily that there was a mistake made with that comment. I mean, there could be a situation where you say a thing one day and then there's a change in circumstances the next, right? I mean, I hear exactly what you're saying. And I believe Lonnie Davis had talked about how Shannon Sharp had rejected a settlement offer. And like you said, we talked about that. Was that wise to make that public? But I guess there could be maybe just a reason why there seems to be a change.
I mean, I'll give you my best guess, right? So it looks like Lanny Davis, for we'll say best case scenario, is one of now a number of lawyers involved on Sharp's side. So it could be, right, you have new representation, they want to slow things down, they want to just change the gear, right? The other, just I want to throw this out there, and again, you and I are trying to make sense of what is pretty much a barren docket at this point. Why, and certainly on the plaintiff side, people are not, this is not a foreign concept. Plaintiff's attorneys in a case like this will generally work off of some contingency, so they'll get paid assuming plaintiff side wins, right? They're not generally working off of the billable hour system. Very different on the defense side, where defense counsel are getting paid by the hour, right? Billable hours. So if Sharp's side were to take an aggressive standpoint on a defense case, for the most part, again, we're not aware of what Sharp's arrangement is here, but you'd be paying attorneys by the hour to take an aggressive standpoint on that defense. Now, hypothetically, Jesse, let's say the parties, since you and I last spoke, right at the end of April, beginning of May, whenever that was, let's say the parties have made some additional traction toward settlement. And as Sharp's lawyer, Davis, said, at one point they were making some progress. So let's say over the last 2 months or so, they've made some progress. That would be a reason to slow down these court proceedings. So Sharp's side is not racking up the legal hours, speeding the case along in terms of starting the process of discovery and getting a deposition scheduled, and maybe they're having some real substantive momentum into moving this forward. That's also a plausible explanation.
Let me stop right here. This attorney really is making no sense whatsoever. The attorney says the girl's lawyer, Tony Busby, is charging probably on a contingency fee basis, and he's absolutely right. Usually attorneys will charge a third of what they win if they can settle the case before they file a lawsuit, and 40% of what they win if they file after. So Tony Busby's already filed. Assuming that Tony's entitled to 40% of the winnings of the lawsuit, that would mean that Tony would get paid $20 million for this case. This 23-year-old does not have $20 million to pay Tony. So of course Tony's gonna want to charge on a contingency fee basis. But this attorney's saying, well, on Shannon Sharp's side, he's probably paying by the hour. Now that's also true. But then the attorney's saying, well, since Shannon Sharp's paying by the hour, he doesn't want to rack up a lot of legal fees in the beginning. He doesn't want his attorneys to take an aggressive stance and to start filing things in the case. Guys, why doesn't this make any sense? Number one, because Shannon Sharp is rich, all right? Shannon Sharp has money. And number two, Shannon Sharp is fighting for his life. Shannon Sharp does not care anything about spending $50,000 or $100,000 or $150,000 to get this case worked up to a place that it needs to be. For this attorney to say, oh, well, Shannon Sharp and his legal team, they're not filing an answer so they can keep the legal fees down when Shannon Sharp is fighting for his entire career makes absolutely no sense. Shout out to this attorney. I don't even know if he knows who Shannon Sharp is. Like, Shannon Sharp got money now. Shannon didn't have money when he was playing back then. The NFL wasn't paying like that. But now Shannon Sharp, he's on social media, and I can tell you as someone in social media that Shannon Sharp is making big money. He don't care nothing about these legal fees if he can save his entire career.
It's not just changing of the guard, it could be some progress is being made behind the scenes that you and I wouldn't see.
Yes,
Well, let's talk
I
about
think
this.
that's what
Let's
it
go to this
is.
hearing. So Judge Anna Albertson presided over what should have been a routine meeting for the civil suit that has obviously made national headlines since it was filed in April, but instead, the hearing became notable for who wasn't there. Any legal representation for the anonymous female plaintiff accusing the 57-year-old media personality of sexual assault, battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Only one attorney appeared in that downtown Las Vegas court. It was Robert DeMarco, who's representing Sharp's legal team, which, by the way, is primarily composed of New York-based lawyers. And DeMarco explained to Judge Albertson that other attorneys on Sharp's team, they were currently handling cases out of state, so he was there. Now, the defense requested a 45-day extension to review the case's progress, which the judge granted despite, and this was interesting,
There's no answer.
despite expressing surprise that Sharp's team wasn't pushing for a quicker resolution, meaning like a settlement. So the next hearing is now scheduled for September 3rd. Yeah, a lot to make here. How on earth is it possible that an attorney for the plaintiff doesn't show up? How unusual is that? Is there a significant reason why that would happen? I can't imagine it's strategic. You got to show up in court. Well, what's going on here?
Definitely have
Does
to
it say,
show up
wait
in
a
court.
second, maybe this, I mentioned the word stability. Does it give you questions about the stability of this case?
Stability, viability, I mean, we can say that, but again, let's just play it like if a plaintiff's attorney doesn't show up to a case that they've commenced, right? They've made these big public statements, the case is out there, and you just no show. And I understand maybe the attorneys are out of town, whatever else. There is, at least as far as I can tell, no tactical or strategic advantage to making yourself look bad in front of the judge, right?
Correct.
And we're not aware of this. That it's possible there were conversations between the lawyers during the appearance.
I don't know what they were talking about.
It's possible, but strategically, I can't see the reason for not showing up if you're the plaintiff's side.
Yeah,
That-
there's no reason not to show up. Now, let me tell you, this happens sometimes. Guys, I'm going to give you a dirty little secret about law firms, all right? Mistakes are made in them. Law firms are filled with humans, and humans make mistakes. I would posit that any attorney who's practiced in a small law firm for over 5 years has absolutely missed a court hearing accidentally. It's unprofessional, but it happens. You know when it doesn't happen, though? It doesn't happen for a $50 million case. That's the weird thing about it. This is a $50 million case. Tony's office could potentially get $20 million. If anything comes from the judge's office on a $20 million case, the attorney absolutely reads it. There are no mistakes. And now with technology where it's at, and these courts using technology and sending out court notices electronically, this type of putting notices in files is much less likely to happen without it being entered into the calendar. So Tony missing this court date is not negligence. There is no accident. Tony missed this court date on purpose. Now, will you miss a court date on purpose? Sometimes, but there's always an agreement that you have with the other party saying, hey, you show up to this, I'm not going to show up, I don't want to take my time, we're already negotiating, you show up, you tell the court that we are negotiating, and you ask for more time. I'm not going to spend my time going down here. And it looks like that's what happened, in fact, in this case. Shannon Sharp's attorneys from New York, they didn't show up. The 23-year-old's attorney, Tony didn't show up. The only person to show up was basically a lackey saying, hey, I'm just here to let you know that we want more time. And Tony's not getting paid by the hour. It's a contingency basis, so he's losing money if he shows up to these court hearings where he doesn't need to be. So what I believe is that the two parties are hot and heavy in negotiating this case, and they are just asking for more time to continue the settlement talks. But I will tell you as an attorney that not filing an answer by Shannon Sharp's team, and then Tony Buzbee not showing up to the hearing without any motion filed, without notifying the judge, this is crazy how these attorneys are handling this. It's a $50 million case. All right, guys, we're going to end it right here. That's basically what's going on. They showed up to the first hearing. Tony didn't show up. Shannon Sharp's attorneys did show up, but they haven't filed an answer. The way that they handle this case is crazy. But here's what I want to know, because as you could probably tell, I have my own thoughts on this case. Do you think that Shannon Sharp is being extorted by this 23-year-old girl who is sending him texts saying, hey, $25,000 per cheat, saying, hey, Shannon, why is it taking so long? Where's the cash? Do you think she's being extorted, or is she a victim? Put it in the comments below.
You don't have to answer the question. I'll answer the question. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers?
You can't handle the truth.
ChatGPT gets 123 million visits a day, and most people still use it like a toy.
You can't handle the truth.
I wasn't trying to lose 8 pounds, but then this happened. Factor is my favorite hack of losing weight sustainably with restaurant quality food. These chef-made meals take the guesswork out of eating clean. Everything's
Welcome back to the Black Light Podcast. Don Lipsy here with another live reaction. Let's do good work. Thumbs up, thumbs up. We have one hell of a show today. A lot to cover. We're going to get into it. Y'all know the rules. If we reach that goal of $100, we'll come back here tomorrow and react to another show. How are you guys doing? Edwina first. How you doing, Edwina? Big Munch down there in the building representing Detroit. Let's go. Let's have a good show, guys. How you guys doing? Glad to be back. Kendra G. We're going to cover MTR addressing Kendra G before we start the show, and then we're going to move on to our other archetypes. Welcome to the show. About 5 minutes or so, and then we're going to get started. I like to get people to get into the room. It's old school, but
Take heed to the message.
Take heed to the message left from the lands. From the soul, she built from the stars, turned on them L's and twisted to Mars. Ain't here to preach, just here to relate. She left up in the trap, now she's shifting the bait. Every slip was step forward, next rise. Now the toward you with a joke on the side. No
take heed to the message.
Now, I got a first because I had looked in my chat and I was like, ain't no way. Ain't no way. I was looking at my chat, I was like, no, that might be wrong. Because I see somebody in my chat, I'm like, no, this gotta be wrong. Wait a minute, okay? But I want to say first, shout out to Angry Man. I see you in my chat, sir. Good morning. How are you? Thank you for stopping in. Even if you just stopping in, I'm fine with that, sir. Thank you so much for coming over. I greatly appreciate
Angry
that.
Man.
I want to share something with you. Your wisdom does not go unnoticed on YouTube, especially when I clock in onto your content. Your wisdom does not go unnoticed. Shout out to you, my brother, and thank you. If you just stopped by, I'm fine with that. Thank you for showing up. I greatly appreciate that. Now, good morning, everybody. How are you? It's good to see y'all. We about to start some trouble today. We will be clowning today, okay? We gonna be clowning today, okay? All right, y'all. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for tuning into my channel called Take Heed to the Message with Avanga Anwar and Jasmine's Queen. Okay? We gonna get into some foolery. The title of this nonsense today, baby. Oh,
what is it? What's the title?
The title of this nonsense today is Dr. Umar, ex-lover, Siobhan Stone. Y'all remember? He called her the throat goat, okay? Siobhan Stone, a.k.a. the throat goat. She did an interview with Tasha K. Shout out to Tasha K. Tasha K clocked that tea all the time. It's a doggone shame, okay? She clocks that tea all the time. Baby, Siobhan Stone got some foolery for y'all to hear, and we're going to go into it. Let me share something with y'all. A lot of people say, take heed, you come after men. I don't come after men. I don't come after men. Let me share something with you. I have a problem with Pookie and Riri. Take Heed has a problem with Pookie and Riri. Why do Take Heed have a problem with Pookie and Riri? Because Take Heed was a Pookisha and a Rakeisha. Okay? Take Heed was a Pookisha and a Rakeisha. Okay? So I have a problem with Pookie and Riri. When they come to social media and they fool everybody. Mind you, listen, if you got your own thing, you want to do your own thing on social media, that's fine. But when you sucker us into foolery, this is when the nonsense comes. Okay? This is when the nonsense comes. Good morning, A-Team. I see you in the chat. Good morning. World Class, how are you? Joyce, I see you. How you doing? Thank you for coming. Ruby, I see you as well. Okay, let's get in here. Okay. Now, Angry Man said he was at the top of the chat. He said Dr. Omar used to date Madea. Holy shit! LOL. I'm tired. That's terrible. I'm tired. Okay. Good morning to everybody. World Class, what's going on, baby?
Why are women everywhere choosing Abby X, the new tummy tuck alternative? I got the tummy tuck results without the tummy tuck down.
No, shut up.
So this is my problem, okay? I don't hate Dr. Omar. I have no problem with Dr. Omar. But the thing is that when you come to social media, you start lying to everybody. You understand? I'm going to share something with you. Takey has a problem when people come and they give advice when it's relationships and raising children. If your household is not stable, you should not be coming to social media telling people how to raise children. That's what I believe. If your relationship, if you don't have a relationship, you don't already have like a solid foundation, you shouldn't be coming to social media preaching to nobody. You shouldn't be. And I know that, you know, the days of old on YouTube, that people come to social media and they preach about certain things. But I'm going to share something with you. These people are living a fake life. Because once these cameras get turned off, all the work that they told you to do, they not doing themselves. You got Dr. Cheyenne out here. Shout out to Paul Pierce. Okay, Dr. Cheyenne out here talking about she's been in a 5-year relationship with somebody who is 9 years younger than her. And she said she done spent the block a couple of times with this young man. How are you telling women, oh, you gotta have the men to do this, you gotta have the men to do that, but you, my sister, you spinning a block. 5 years, you've been spinning a block. Now you talking about, oh, it's because of his insecurities. Really, ma? Really? Or is it that he just wanna swing you from the chandelier and that's it? But I also think that that's just a play because you know you eat grass. Alleged, okay? I don't want to get sued. Alleged. Can y'all hear me well? Is the audio good? I just want to make sure of that. Let me know. Is the video clear? Let me know. If my audio is messing up, let me know. So that's my problem. They come here and call themselves teaching. Dr. Umar, all he does is talk about how he want to help the melanated community with their children and stuff like that. But this woman, who is Siobhan Stone, allegedly reached out to him years ago because she was having problems with her son, which the boy is grown now, okay? But she was having problems with him. The son had ADHD, and she wanted help, okay? She reached out to Dr. Umar. She said he gave her this like lousy answer or whatever. And then, so later, a month later, she reached out to him again or something like that and went into depth. And he still didn't give her like a really good answer. He still didn't give a good answer. So what happened was he waited, I guess, a couple weeks and was like, I want to do a show in your town. Can you organize that? And she organized it, okay? And somehow, you know, he was ready to please that booty, okay? And what it looked like to me, and from what the women are saying on social media that have encountered him, he's only looking to assist you because he want to assist that booty. Alleged, okay? So how can you be a scholar and a teacher and you want to help the community, but you ready to knock down these single...
Knock down the single Jones. Hold on. Ready to knock down the single Jones. Okay, that's on speaker.
You ready to knock down these single moms when they're reaching out for help.
Oh, that shit ain't gonna play through that.
But you ready to knock them down.
Can you hear me?
We gonna let her come in here and explain this story herself. Shout out to Tasha K for always having amazing content. Thank you to everybody who's in the chat. Please hit the like and subscribe button if you feel the content. And if you don't feel the
Umar trying to please that booty. Hey, everybody like a throat goat, homie. Everybody enjoys a throat goat every now and then, including Dr. Umar. He human. We all humans out here. Ramona, don't call me white girl. That's the jump shorty that was on, she was on it with Gilly, yeah, okay. Better hurry up while he the talk of the town right now. Fucking with the Medea looking chick. Well, I don't think she was looking like that then, but she definitely looking like that now. Get a couple. Half of the runoff ones got to take a gas. That's what I'm talking about. If I go straight to Danville, pick up a tractor, I come back, I can do it there. But it ain't been, maybe one time I had maybe one stop before Danville. It was 2 stops all together. But that just ain't never like that. Yo, hit that subscribe button, player. Nah, I ain't talking to you, I'm talking to whoever on here. Hit that subscribe button, B. Y'all doing all that watching. All that. I'll let a player. know he ain't working on no weekends. At least they've been working out. Oh shit. He said because he was sweating. Okay, to work out this on the vision board, okay. Keep on the island. Sleep at the right goddamn time. Stop seeing it. Oh yeah. I'll get out here getting wild now. Fresh smell goods. It do feel good as a bitch out this jump. Lightning in the background. I don't even got that rain. That shit better be going the other way. That what? No, I had not nine. go down. Everybody got down by the school.